Alrighty, hey guys. Where have I been? Well, wedding planning, promotion at work, training for said promotion. A lot's been going on, and I've kind of been just streaming in the free time that I have rather than making videos because I can't really find the time for editing right now or the energy. That's the other thing. Anyway, not why you guys are here. This is going to be the most random video on my channel because it's going up on it's Friday right now, so it's probably going up, I don't know, tomorrow. Or even just tonight. I can't imagine it's gonna take me that long to edit. It depends on how rambly I'm gonna get. But today is Friday, the 12th of September. And as of 5 hours ago, I had people notifying me, like some of you guys, getting my attention because the Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly remake has been announced. I can't believe I just said that. I haven't said it out loud yet. Like, I've read about it. I had people send me stuff. I'm like tearing up. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't believe that that's actually happening. Like, I was actually in tears when I heard about Mask of the Lunar Eclipse because I thought I was never going to get to play that game. And now we're starting back the original trilogy. So I don't want to get really rambly here at the beginning because you guys are more so here about the trailer. So, though, I did want to share with you guys, since I'm probably going to talk after the video about a lot of my lore of how I got into the Fatal Frame franchise. So I thought a fun way to kind of start that is actually starting with the first video I had found discovering the Fatal Frame franchise. Because originally I had thought that Fatal Frame was just the original one, the first one. And then one day when I was on YouTube, just, like normal teenagers do, just scrolling through YouTube, I find it was a promo video for Fatal Frame 2. So like I said, at the time, I thought that Fatal Frame was just the first game. And then I was like, Fatal Frame 2? That's not a thing. This is fan-made, isn't it? But this video came across, and this, like, I don't know why. This was, like, when I really got in, like, started wanting to get into Fatal Frame. Oh my God, this video. That makes me feel so nostalgic.
Twin sisters have found themselves.
And then the stupid announcer voice.
Lost village.
So, for me, Fatal Frame 2 is kind of like my original Fatal Frame, right? It was the first one that I played myself and finished because I could never finish the first one. We'll get to that later. I'll talk more about it. But Fatal Frame 2 is like the original for me. And if you're thinking chronologically, the second one, you can kind of play it first, and then the first one, and then the third one. So like Mio and Mayu in general, like I said, my girls. Mio is my favorite Fatal Frame protagonist. Sai is my favorite Fatal Frame Shrine Maiden.
If that happens,
The camera obscura.
That's a lie. The camera obscura doesn't work on her until you reach the Hellish Abyss.
I'm sorry. I have to go.
It was, I remember how much I hated Mayu, if I'm honest.
What happened? No matter what happens, I'll forgive you.
And also,
Mayu.
the English English version of Fatal Frame 2 was so much better than the English version of Fatal Frame 1.
Someone you love to guide you.
Also, this was before they actually had a sprint in Fatal Frame. She does not run this fast in the game. She never did. Don't lie to me.
One sister.
Kills the other.
Why didn't you kill me?
And then the sigh laugh.
Mayu!
Hang on.
I was waiting. Kill me. Mayu! We'll be together.
The laugh. Her laugh is iconic. Her laugh lives rent-free in my memory. I'm just grinning like an idiot. Now, like I said, the English voiceover
Look in there.
isn't perfect, but it's still better than the first one. It was hard to do worse than the first one.
Fatal Frame 2. Crimson Butterfly.
Kill me.
That was the first video on Fatal Frame 2 that I had ever discovered. And here we are, 20-something years later, and we're getting a remake. Oh my god. I don't think I'm ready. Okay, so one thing I do want to say is, like, while I was watching that, I mentioned how much I absolutely adore Sai's laugh. So that was one of the reasons that I did not like the Wii version, was because I did not like the way the voice actress performed the laugh. I just don't think she did it right. There is something about this voice actor's laugh that, like, it was properly maniacal and, like, crying at the same time, and, like, oh, it's just so good. Like I said, that laugh is etched into my memory, okay? I'll talk more about the Wii version, but for now... Oh, was my cursor on the screen the whole time? I don't think it was. But now may contain content inappropriate for children. Really? A Fatal Frame game? Not for children? Are you sure? No. Okay. Oh my god. Am I ready? Oh my god. This is going to be the greatest minute and 6 seconds of my life. I can't. I'm like so excited I can't press play. Okay. Holy shit. I'm panicking. Why am I panicking? It's gonna all be in Japanese, obviously. They're probably...
About this place.
What?
A long time ago, there was a village here that disappeared during a festival.
Holy
Lost
graphics.
in the woods are called to the village. Do you think this is... What happened?
Oh! Scythe laughs!
Dead. Mia, no. Stay back. Run away. Fatal Frame 2. Crimson Butterfly. Remake. Finally, we're one.
I can't breathe. I wasn't expecting it to be in English. I was expecting subtitles, actually. Hang on. Okay. Okay, hang on. Let's go back. I need to sort this out. I need to sift through the things that I want to talk about real quick. This wasn't just supposed to be reaction. Wasn't that... Who was that? I cannot remember his name. He was the one who came to the village with Munakata. If I remember correctly.
A long time ago, there was a village here.
First things first, my girls. Wow. Okay, so it almost looks like they actually leaned into the original style, like the original style, like I don't know, it's like the shape of the eyes in a way. It looks like they kind of tried to maintain the original trilogy's style, which is different than what the Mask of the Lunar Eclipse or Maiden of Blackwater looks like. Like, they don't look like those characters, in my personal opinion. Maybe I'm seeing this through rose-tinted glasses, but that's upon my observation. I really do like their designs because I think they are kind of trying to stay true to the original Fatal Frame art style, which I'll get to that later. It's something that I do want to touch on whenever I go on my ramblings and everything, but I did want to mention that, I mean, I do like their designs.
Had disappeared during a festival.
I think
Who get lost in the woods are called to the village.
I think the one speaking would be Mio, or it was Mayu. I think in the original, they were both voiced by the same actress. I would say so. I don't know if this one, they're voiced by somebody different. Or like two different actresses. But so far, I like this voice for either one of the girls, in my opinion. Like, I think it matches in a weird way. I think it matches the original. The ghosts. The ghosts don't look very ghostly. And that was kind of a problem I had with Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. Maiden of Blackwater, I think they still kind of had a ghostly look to them. Like, they were still relatively translucent. Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, they kind of just look like blue shaded character models. They were still translucent sometimes, but this kind of bothers me. She just looks like a full-fledged 3D character model. She doesn't look like... This is a ghost, by the way. I know exactly which ghost this is, okay? I know my games. This is one of the ghosts in the game. She just doesn't look like a ghost. At least not to me. I think there should be a level of translucency to the ghosty models. And it seems like we're losing that, Fatal Frame. Please don't lose that. They're supposed to be spooky ghosties. Size laugh. Oh my god. Hang on.
This is... What happened?
The ritual will begin soon.
Everyone's...
Ooh, Itsuki, hello?
What happened?
The ritual will begin soon.
Do I know that voice? Excuse me. Hang on. Do I know that voice?
What happened?
The ritual will begin soon.
I know that voice. I'm Googling it right now. Okay, so it does not seem that his proper English voice actor has been announced, I guess. I really can't find anything. I tried. However, what I was going to talk about actually here, but Itsuki's voice caught my attention. I also forgot his last name when I was trying to Google it. I was like, I know his last name. What is it? But I could not remember. It's Tachibana, by the way. I figured it out. I had just forgotten. Yeah, it was Itsuki and Mutsuki were the boys. But what I wanted to talk about
What happened?
was Sai's laugh. So, I'm still not sure how I feel about it. I don't want to judge too harshly, but I'm not sure how I feel about it. It does not seem to have that same ring as the original did for me. Now, that it was bound to happen because of how invested I am in the original. So I'm trying not to judge too harshly. I think it works, but I think it's lacking a certain punch that the original had. That's okay, though.
The ritual will begin soon.
I think there is a shot... Oh, the mourners. And Chitose. Yeah, the shot of the Kusabi.
Fatal Frame 2. Crimson Butterfly. Remake.
I can't believe we're here.
Finally, we're one.
I can't believe we're here. I can't believe we're here. And it's not that far away either. I don't know what early 2026 means, but like, it can't be that far away, right? Okay, I can't hyperventilate. It's okay. I wanted to scroll back and talk about some of these jump cuts, because yeah, this sequence actually was the one I was actually going back for. This sequence, I remember it very vividly because that little shit. Oh, wow. Look at her cat eyes. I like didn't realize it until I looked at like the capture. This little shit, she gave me a lot of grief in my first ever playthrough. She's a pain. She's a pain. But I really like her character, like her story and things like that, and the way like she's implemented into the environment around you and everything. I don't want to say too much because I do plan on doing a full playthrough of this game when it comes out. So like for those of you who have not seen the Fatal Frame 2 gameplay or the story or anything like that, I don't want to spoil anything. However, she gave me grief. Her name is Chitose, by the way. But no, I like her battle, but she was really hard to learn. So this whole sequence of Mio crawling in for the notebook, it was one of those moments that I, as a horror game player, knew that this was going to be some stupid jump scare thing. And sure enough, and then there was a battle right afterward, of course. And, ooh, I just thought of something. The camera obscura is different in the second one. I wonder if they're actually going to maintain the mechanic that made the camera obscura in the second one. Because it operated different than the first one. Is this the broad that crawls out of the box? I think this is when she's crawling out of the well, though, but... And then that's... Whoa. That is an intense shot right there. Oh my god, look at all the gashes on his forehead. This sequence.
Stay back. Run away. Fatal Frame 2. Crimson Butterfly. Remake. Finally, we're one.
I'm coming back over here because I think also that they may have changed the ending. Maybe not drastically, but I don't know. The way that the trailer ended, I don't know. Maybe I'm jumping to conclusions, but I do want to go on my rambling. Of course I do. It is my favorite horror game franchise to date. It's one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. So yeah, I'm gonna go rambling on about it, but I was not ready for the trailer at all. So I was actually at work 5 hours ago, okay? I was knee deep in quite a big project, actually, and I was trying to stay focused, obviously. I'm trying to do my job. However, my phone goes off. Then it goes off again. Then it goes off again. Okay, is this an emergency? Is somebody dying? And so I look, and it's a couple of you guys contacting me. And I'm like, okay, it's just Discord. I'm not really worried about it, right? Well, I got curious and opened one of them with a screenshot of the confirmation of a Fatal Frame 2 remake. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm saying it out loud. I'm gonna cry. So, I was at work. And like I said, I was knee deep in this project and needed to get done. I was there for so much longer than I thought I was going to be. So, I was like, okay, so there's a trailer. I could, 1, get home, watch the trailer, and enjoy it myself. 2, I plan on streaming tonight. Maybe I'll watch it during stream and hang out with everybody and talk about it. Or 3, record myself separately and go on my ramblings because I know I'm going to have a lot to say about it. So I went with option 3. I literally got home. I literally just had a little thing of yogurt. Like, I haven't eaten anything all day. I put on some eyeliner and a little bit of makeup. My eyes are so tired from working at the computer, so that's why I'm wearing my glasses. So you guys got glasses Finn this time. And here I am. Like, I wasn't waiting for this. I had to know if it was true. Gods, where do I even begin? I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, because I've played Fatal Frame, Maiden to Blackwater, and Mask of the Lunar Eclipse on my channel. I've speedrun Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, and I talk about how Fatal Frame is my favorite video game franchise. Well, favorite horror game franchise. One of my favorite video game franchises. And I'm sure everybody has the question in the back of their mind of which one would actually be considered my favorite in the franchise. So, I think it goes without saying, due to my almost crying over a trailer, or over the nostalgia of watching that other old trailer, Fatal Frame 2 is my all-time favorite Fatal Frame game in the franchise. And I honestly think that might be kind of an unpopular opinion. The first game was very buggy, was very clunky, was very hard for a lot of people to get through. So when they were going to continue the series, they tried to fix all those problems. Obviously, they cleaned it up. It wasn't as buggy, it wasn't as clunky, but it also was not very hard. So when you're running through this game, there's not a whole lot of threats that you really have to encounter. A lot of the stuff is pretty forgiving that you can actually escape a lot of battles in the second game. And I know that kind of leaves a bad taste in some people's mouths. However, when you're playing it for a first time playthrough and you're not comparing it to the first one because you never completed it, you go into it ready to take these things on, ready to face your fears, and honestly, like I talked about it in like Maiden of Blackwater and Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, is a lot of the times the things that really carry a Fatal Frame game is the story and the lore. Sai is my favorite Fatal Frame Shrine Maiden. I feel the most sympathy for her. Like, I'm not going to get into detail just so that way I don't spoil anything, because I'll do a whole playthrough on my channel when it comes out. That is a promise, guys. Side tangent, I had actually already planned on playing the original trilogy on my channel. I have it for the PlayStation 3. However, the PlayStation 3 is weird about capture cards. So I was waiting to financially be able to swing getting the adapter that I need to be able to capture card my PlayStation 3. And in that time that I was trying to with wedding planning and like other finance issues, like I didn't have the money to be able to do something like that. But now here we are. So now I don't have to. I'll get it for my PlayStation 5, and I'm going to have a whole playthrough that way now. Because I'm assuming that if we're getting Fatal Frame 2, we're getting Fatal Frame 1 and 3 too. What was I saying? Sai is my favorite Shrine Maiden, and that might be just personal bias because Fatal Frame 2 is my favorite game in the franchise. But I genuinely sympathize for her. Like, I think she is the one who got the worst end of the stick. And then Ose is up there. I really sympathize with Ose from Maiden to Blackwater. She's another very sympathetic one. I did not feel a whole lot for Sakuya. I did not feel a whole lot for Kirie. Reika, I do feel a lot for Reika. But I don't know. I think it's because Sai was younger when it happened to her. So, like, that kind of like gets to me. Mio as well. Mio is my favorite Fatal Frame protagonist. Again, that's probably my bias because this is my favorite game. I've seen the most of Mio. I have played the most of Mio. Well, actually, no, that might not be true. Because, like, I've speedrun Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, so I've played, Ruka and Choshiro and Misaki a lot, but I still don't think the amount of hours that I've put into Mask of the Lunar Eclipse have even touched the amount of hours that I put into the Fatal Frame 2 Director's Cut for the original Xbox. Yes, I got the Director's Cut. which also had the fatal mode in it. Or, wait, nightmare mode. One of them. I don't know. The original only had either nightmare or fatal mode, and I think it was nightmare. So then the director's cut had fatal mode, which was even worse. It was so much worse. I mean, nightmare was already bad enough, but oh my god, the freaking caverns, the mourners, oh my god, I'm having flashbacks. Anyway, so yeah, it goes without saying. Fatal Frame 2 is my favorite in the franchise. If I was going to rank the Fatal Frame franchise, I would probably say Fatal Frame 2 is my favorite, my number one. Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse is up there because I actually really enjoyed the lore of that one, and I liked the environment of it a lot. The only thing I didn't really care for in Mask of the Lunar Eclipse was Sakuya herself. It just didn't have that sympathetic punch that like other Fatal Frame Shrine Maidens have. Fatal Frame 2, Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, and yes, I still refuse to call it Fatal Frame 4. Then Fatal Frame 3. Fatal Frame 3 does get knocked down a few pegs. Well, not a few pegs, but it would have been number 2 had I not played Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. It did get knocked down because I actually had never finished Fatal Frame 3. I got lost a lot, and I'm sure other Fatal Frame players can vouch for why that happened. Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater, which, again, I refuse to call it Fatal Frame 5, and then the original Fatal Frame. Like I said, the original Fatal Frame is buggy, clunky, and broken. I had never completed the game on my own, and to this day, I don't think I ever will, unless it gets a proper remake and the build is, you know, better than what it was on the original PlayStation 2, which I'm sure it will be. But until then, like, I watched videos, I saw how it ended and everything, so I know the story, but it's not my original, so it doesn't hold that much sentiment to me either in that department. But also it doesn't look good. It doesn't play well. It has a lot more working against it for me than working for it. I had mentioned Mio is my favorite protagonist. I guess I should talk about Yori in Maiden of Blackwater. She is probably my second favorite protagonist. I really love her design. And I like her story. I like her correspondence with Ose and Maiden of Blackwater. Rei in Fatal Frame 3. Again, hers is more about her design. I feel like Rei doesn't really have much going for her other than her design, but I just like her design. In Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, actually, my favorite protagonist was Misaki, which is gone like 3 chapters before the finale. So, but I just liked her design, and she's also an Aso, so she is also an Aso. That sounds so weird, but Kunihiko Aso, the guy who made the Camera Obscura, she's a descendant of his, which I thought was a really cool, like, link into the lore of Fatal Frame and everything. Had you asked me 35 minutes ago where I stood with the original Fatal Frame trilogy, I would have told you that I would have preferred to just get a port. I did not want a remaster or a remake of the original trilogy. I would have rather just wanted to play Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly on my PlayStation 5. The controls wouldn't change. The graphics, like, obviously it would need, like, touched up because, like, the different graphics or whatever, but I didn't need anything more. I just wanted to play my game again. That's all I wanted. For the main reason is, I talked about it a little bit ago, is I like the original trilogy Fatal Frame art style. I think it has its own thing going for it. And Mask of the Lunar Eclipse and Maiden of Blackwater kind of lose that. But now that I see it, is this better? No, in my opinion, I still like the original trilogy's art style, but it seems like they still tried to hang on to it. Maybe I'm seeing this through rose-tinted glasses because I just got so excited about, like, just getting to play my game again, for one. It's probably going to be a little bit different, but I think I can tolerate that just to see Mio again, you know what I mean? It is a remake So they didn't just polish up the Deep Crimson Butterfly. This is not Deep Crimson Butterfly. Which I honestly, that was another reason I did not want them to remake the original trilogy, because I knew they were going to start with Crimson Butterfly. I knew that if they were going to start with Crimson Butterfly, all they were going to do was put a fresh coat of paint on Deep Crimson Butterfly, which was the Wii version, which to this day, I still hold a grudge against. Fatal Frame games have no business being on the Wii. And I will die on that hill. However, this is a remake. They built this from the ground up, and I'm hoping that they leaned more towards the original. There wasn't huge differences from Deep Crimson Butterfly to the original. The original actually had Deep Crimson Butterfly actually had a bunch of extra crap in it. They're probably going to keep the extra crap, which is fine. But what I was worried about was that they were going to lean into the art style of Deep Crimson Butterfly, which was what I wanted to avoid. So it almost seems like this one, they're kind of in between the original art style and the art style of Deep Crimson Butterfly, which Deep Crimson Butterfly leans more towards the Mask of the Lunar Eclipse and Maiden of Blackwater style. Kind of more realistic features, but you saw in this one, like when I paused on Chitose, she has much bigger eyes than more realistic characters. You know what I mean? Same thing with Mio and Mayu. Their eyes aren't like sized way down like they were in Deep Crimson Butterfly, but they're not as like big and anime-esque looking, manga style-esque, I should say, as they were in the original, which I'm fine with. This is me like meeting halfway kind of thing, because I know there's going to be parts that I don't like. However, I am going to get to play my game again on a PlayStation console. The first time I played Fatal Frame was on PlayStation 2. I played the original Fatal Frame. Well, I didn't play it, actually. I was a child. My mom found it at a buy-sell trade video game store. She said she saw the case, and on the back of it, it said something about the vibrations of the heartbeat in the controller, and she thought it sounded really cool. So she bought it. Well, little 6-year-old Finn sat down in the dark basement while my mom was playing a Japanese horror game, The Man with Long Arms. From that moment on, I was actually pretty traumatized by this game. It was years later. I mean, I was probably double digits in age by this point, that I finally tried to go back and play it myself. I hated every minute of it. I don't think I got past night 1. And then I had a friend who wanted to, like, play it, and we were trying to, like, take turns and, like, play it. We didn't get much further than that. But that was another thing that I was really holding on to, is I could not play this game alone. So, I just went on YouTube, and I watched a playthrough of it because I wanted to know how it ended. And that was that. From that point on, Fatal Frame was out of my memory. I didn't want anything to do with it anymore. It traumatized me as a child. I lost sleep over it. Like I said, it was the man with long arms. It was the child that crawled out of the well. It was Kyrie herself. I just wasn't having it. Skip ahead some odd years, and I'm scrolling on YouTube, and I find a video on Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly. Excuse me, is this fan-made? Nobody talks about Fatal Frame. Nobody knows what Fatal Frame is. There can't be a second Fatal Frame. Somebody fan-made something, right? Nope. I found out there's a second one. Oh my god, it looks so different from the original. And I go searching, and I cannot find a copy in America. Not one that I could afford, that is. So, I go to YouTube. And I find, I still remember who I watched. He goes, his username was Piscadelic Snake. I always just called him Snake. And he was the jumpiest fucker ever. Sorry, language. I'm really excited right now. But oh my god, he was so dramatic when he got scared and everything. And I would laugh while I'm watching this playthrough. About halfway through the playthrough, I stopped watching, and I don't know why. And X amount of time passed. I can't tell you how long. But the memory came back. It's like, oh yeah, Fatal Frame. And I think I like came across some money or something like that I was finally able to buy it. I got it off eBay, and I even got the director's cut for the original Xbox. Actually, oh, I remember we actually went somewhere to another game store because apparently you had to go to these people to find out if there was an Xbox game that was compatible with Xbox 360 because I didn't have an original Xbox. So before I bought it, we went and did that. They were like the only store that had a list of all of them. And sure enough, it was on that list, and I would have cried if it wasn't. But I decided to get the director's cut. It did not come in a case, actually, which actually makes me really sad that I don't have the box art. A little while ago, Bradley and I went back to that buy-sell trade where my mom originally bought Fatal Frame, and I saw the Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly director's cut for the original Xbox in its original box art case for $80. Was I going to pay $80 just to get the box art? No, but I would be lying if I told you I wasn't tempted. I bought that one, and at the time, a friend of mine, actually the one I've been streaming with, Jacob, he also decided to buy it himself. He bought the PlayStation 2 version. So, we, on a nightly basis after school, would call each other on the phone, put each other on speaker, and simultaneously play the game. Similar to what we're doing with Maiden of Blackwater to 100% it. Only now we have Discord, where like we can talk in real time and everything. Which, I mean, phone calls are the same thing, but you know. We played through Fatal Frame Crimson Butterfly. Forwards, backwards, and sideways. And I still never 100%ed that game. My game had easy, normal, hard, nightmare, and fatal mode. His did not have fatal mode. However, at the end of nightmare mode was when you got to battle Sai, which was what we were the most excited about. That was the whole reason we played through nightmare. And when it got to me playing fatal mode, he says, good luck, have fun, basically. He just like, all right, you do you, I ain't doing it. Because nightmare was a nightmare, for lack of a better word. So, here I am completely hooked on Fatal Frame. Another friend of mine got Fatal Frame 3 for their PlayStation 2. I tried to play it, and there were two things that really, really messed with me in that game. Let's say three things, actually. One, the map. I already talked about that. I got lost a lot in that game. And it's not as clear what direction you're supposed to go. Like, you know how I always made the joke of, like, this is a Fatal Frame game. What do? We follow the ghost. It's not as clear in the third one, which made it really, really difficult, which was one of the reasons I never finished it. Two, after playing Fatal Frame 2 for so long, on PlayStation, the circle button was always the viewfinder button. Like, that was what picked up the camera. In Fatal Frame 3, for some reason, they switched it to the triangle button, which is actually what it is universally now in the Fatal Frame games. Like, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, Maiden of Blackwater, triangle is the viewfinder button. So now I'm used to it. However, after I had put over 100 hours, maybe, like, I don't even know how many, hours into Fatal Frame Crimson Butterfly, which was the circle button, changing it to the triangle button was not going over so well. It was an adjustment that I just could not wrap my brain around at the time. And then 3, there is actually a mechanic in the game where when you pick up the camera, the character should automatically be looking at a specter that appears for only a few seconds, you know, so that way you can take the picture. Fatal Frame 3 did not do that. And that's kind of why I was getting lost, because, like, a specter would show up to, like, guide me in the right direction. But when I picked up my camera, here I am just looking at a wall or something. And I turn around, the specter's gone. Which hallway were they in? Where do I bloody go? So, I was partway through Fatal Frame 3 when I dropped it. Again, I went back to Piscadelic Snake and watched his playthrough of it. I got to the ending, and I cried like a baby. So, even though I never finished the game, Fatal Frame 3 is still special to me. Then we come up on Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. Now, I've already talked about Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. Mask of the Lunar Eclipse is the bastard child of the Fatal Frame franchise. Everybody who has played the Fatal Frame franchise for over 10 years knows that. There was a lot of issues in production where, like, this company had it, then this company had it, then this company had it, then this company had it, where the game ended up resulting very incomplete. The marketing just didn't happen. It never left Japan. For a long time, I wanted to play it and everything, but I could not find the opportunity. I don't know if that was before or after Deep Crimson Butterfly, but I had actually region unblocked my Wii so I could play Deep Crimson Butterfly, because technically it never came to the States. It only made it to Japan and Europe. Well, it started in Japan and went to Europe, but it never made it here. So I had to region unblock my Wii for it. If it was region unblocked, maybe I could play Mask of the Lunar Eclipse too, but I still couldn't get my hands on it. So I went online. And again, went to Piscadelic Snake, who had a playthrough of it, but he was playing on a pretty clunky emulator, and it was not fun watching how frustrated he was getting with the stupid emulator and how bad the gameplay was. Either just because it was an incomplete game or because the emulator sucked that bad, but I ended up dropping the playthrough at that time. So when I played Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, I knew nothing about the lore. When I couldn't get my hands on Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, I thought that was it. I thought that was the end of the Fatal Frame franchise for me. I thought we were not going to get any more. I thought that was not just it for me, but I thought that was it just for Fatal Frame. I thought that since that one was such a disaster that they were going to just drop the franchise. Apparently they still had faith in the franchise, because later on the Wii U comes Maiden of Blackwater. You guys are going to start to notice a pattern here, because I got about, I don't know, 3 or 4 chapters into Maiden of Blackwater, and I dropped it. Why, you say? Because it was on the fucking Wii U! That's why! Whoever designed that console, you and I, we're gonna have words, okay? We need to talk about it, because Nintendo, that was a disaster, okay? However, I was actually kind of happy that they didn't put another Fatal Frame game on the Wii, because I hate the Wii controls, right? I thought I would really like the Wii U controls, honestly, but after playing on the Wii U, the Wii U sucks, so I didn't get into it. X amount of years later, God, I don't even know how long of a time it was. I mean, I probably went years without even thinking of Fatal Frame, because, again, I thought that was it for me. And then I find out about this remake of Maiden of Blackwater coming to next-gen consoles. I was like, okay, let's give it a fighting chance. Now, that one was just a remaster. So, I was like, I'm not putting a whole lot of faith in it, but I wanted to check it out. So, the playthrough that I have on my channel, that is my first time playthrough of Maiden of Blackwater. Entirely. Obviously, I was familiar with some stuff, but not a lot. And honestly, like, I personally enjoyed it. To an extent. There were issues that I had with it, obviously. And I still have those issues, but whatever. But nothing... Well, actually, this kind of compares. This kind of compares to when I found out about the remake. That was a remake of the Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. I pulled up YouTube for some reason. And it was my old profile, too. I was going back trying to find something. And I went to my old channel, and it says Mask of the Lunar Eclipse remake. And I'm like, that's a lie. This is a lie. But nope, you tap it, it's a full-fledged trailer, and I literally jumped up screaming. I was screaming across the house, and Bradley was home at the time. And again, like, I talked about it in my playthrough, actually, so I don't want to get too far into it. But I just never thought that I was going to be able to play it in the first place. And now I have, and I've speedrun it and everything. I've 100%ed it. And it looks so good compared to the original. And now we're going back to the very beginning. Because like I said, technically you can play the second one before the first one. Because chronologically it makes sense. So now we're getting our original trilogy. Would I have liked to expand on the Fatal Frame universe? Of course. Did we need Spirit Memoir? No. But I think like a new Fatal Frame game would be great. But I can understand what they're doing. Obviously, they had Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, which was a disaster. Maiden of Blackwater was unsuccessful. But then the remaster of Maiden of Blackwater did pretty well, which led to the remake of Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, both of which were probably contributing to the budget to remake the original trilogy. So if this one is successful, which I doubt it won't be, I know the Fatal Frame fandom still stands strong. This game will definitely be successful, and we will get Fatal Frame and Fatal Frame 3 The Tormented remastered or remade for next-gen consoles. And PC, apparently. I don't think I could ever play a Fatal Frame game on PC. So yeah, that's my whole Fatal Frame story. A lot of my favorite video games, I find it really funny, is that I hated them at the beginning. And as time went on, I started to fall in love with them. Kingdom Hearts, I couldn't finish Kingdom Hearts 1, and I got really frustrated with it. And then Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, and I could figure out Kingdom Hearts 2 a lot better than Kingdom Hearts 1, apparently. Either that or I was just older and I could figure it out. That's when I started to like it. Undertale, I hated Undertale when it came out. I hated that nobody would shut up about it. And, like, that's a stupid reason, but I just hated hearing about it. But then I played it myself, and I'm in love. Fatal Frame traumatized me as a child, and now it's my favorite horror game ever. And I get to play my Fatal Frame 2 again. I'm so excited. 2026 can't come fast enough. And that's really funny to say because with the wedding being the end of September, like, I don't even know what October is anymore. Like, my year ends in September. So I guess when September ends, I'm ready for 2026. So this literally feels like it's right around the corner. And then after the wedding, I'm just going to be like, oh, I have months still to wait. I don't know. This got really rambly, but I did want to share, like, my story and everything because I've talked very vaguely about it, and I know a lot of people were probably, like I said, wondering, like, where my ranking for the whole Fatal Frame franchise sat. Now you guys know. I did not expect to be talking this long, so I'm going to wrap it up here. If you guys stuck around for the whole time, thanks. I don't genuinely cannot wait for Fatal Frame 2's remake. I'm going to boot up my PlayStation 5 and hopefully put a pre-order in so that way I have it ready for download. And you guys can be ready for that playthrough whenever it comes out. I promise I'm going to get more videos on YouTube again once the wedding's over. But until then, I will see you guys whenever I can upload another video. Bye, guys.